Hey, I am Dr. Jareka Dodd, and if you have been hiding under a rock lately, you may have missed that there is going to be a premier virtual summit happening for women in pharmacy. And there's a little asterisk by it, and that stands for, or that represents a few good men. So it's called Women in Pharmacy Nothing Held Back Virtual Summit. You know why? Because women in pharmacy, I talk to at least 10 women in pharmacy a week. And I've been doing this for 4 years. That's a lot of women, pharmacists, technicians, pharmacy students, and everybody has their thing that they're working towards, working to get over the obstacle or the challenge they're facing. But what I find is a lot of commonalities. And so I decided that I wanted to have a program specifically for women in pharmacy and a few good men. And you don't understand, I have been putting together this experience that, like I say sometimes when I'm sharing the people who are going to be featured in the magazine, that I have the best job. So this is why I have the best job, because I have searched high and low for people that I could connect with to bring to my audience, to bring their expertise, to share some goodies, and to let you know that there are options. From the question that I get of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do about healthcare if I decide to change jobs or become an entrepreneur or do my own thing or whatever? I get that question a lot. To, how do I start? Where do I begin? I mean, I get it from A to Z. I get all the questions. And so when I was on a networking call, because one of my things that I stand on is that pharmacists and people in pharmacy need to know more than pharmacists. I'll say that again. People in pharmacy need to know more than pharmacists and more than other people in pharmacy. And I was on a networking call, and I probably was multitasking because I'm usually trying to connect with all the people on LinkedIn. And this wonderful lady was like right over there on my screen. And I heard her say, I'm the creator of Sidewalk Chalk. And I was like, that's amazing. She created Sidewalk Chalk. I don't even play with Sidewalk Chalk, but I know what it is. I've seen many people use it. So, all right, I'm gonna just get right to it, and I'm going to introduce my guest, my friend, and sponsor, Marcia Reece with StayWell Copper. Welcome, Marcia.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here and share what I can to help your audience take the next steps they want to take.
Thank you. And I have to say, it was the Sidewalk Chalk. So we're going to get to the StayWell Copper because that's why and that's what we talk about most days. But like, I just want to tell the people, like, how can you tell them a little bit about the Sidewalk Chalk? Like, when you showed me the package and you just recently named the list of companies that you worked with, that blew my mind. And I'm getting a little like, I need to sip some water. So tell us about Sidewalk Chalk.
I will. I'll let you also know. I'll start at the end because just last year, our Sidewalk Chalk company was inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame in New York. And I was really honored and privileged because we worked our tails off to bring this product to market. But it all started back in the 1970s. I had a daughter and a son, little kiddos, and my daughter only wore prissy pink clothes, and she would get very upset if her clothes got dirty. And now she's a mom of two little boys, which I think is kind of good karma payback.
Right.
I didn't let my children have battery toys because I knew they were smart. And I thought if they used this battery up here, I would help them be a creative thinker instead of just watching a toy go around in a circle. Mm-hmm. So kind of apply today to kids that are on screen time too much. That's stopping what they can naturally create. At any rate, she loved creative art products. And back then, this is in the 70s, the only chalk available were those little skinny sticks that were for blackboards, and they were made in China. They were full of lead. They were dusty, they were dirty, and they broke and they stained, and they were tears waiting to happen. So I decided there's got to be a better way to make chalk. And I started working in my kitchen. My husband told people I was trying to make muffins, but I was actually trying to make chalk. And I came up with this amazing formulation. But it was very, very hard. It wouldn't wipe off. Even on this black shirt, it wouldn't wipe off. It washed off with rain or water, and it was fabulous. So my son at the time, now this is a long, long time ago, he said, Mom, and we started, well, let me go back. We started selling this sidewalk chalk at craft fairs in Colorado. That's the only thing I knew to do with it. And we had stores starting to call us because the moms were going into these toy stores looking for more. So finally, I went down to the Denver Merchandise Mart and I learned a lot. Ended up creating a product very rough. I'm going to show it to you guys. Don't laugh, don't fall off your seats, but this is the beginning of sidewalk chalk, this very rough, I don't know how well that's showing, but it was very, very primitive. And my son said, Mom, Walmart says I only buy products made in America. They should buy our chalk. So that started 46 mornings in a row of me calling the buyer at 9 o'clock, not 8:57 and not 9:02, 9 a.m. On the 46th morning, she said, is this Marcia? I said, yes.
Yes.
The buyer is in our brand new distribution center in Loveland, Colorado. And if you can be there at 11, he will see you. Now, what time was it? 9 a.m. I had to go home because I was over at our chalk factory. I had to go home, take off my clothes. I probably had on blue jeans and a sweatshirt and a ponytail and put on a business suit because back then it was suits, hose, and heels. And I drove to Loveland and I almost threw up in the parking lot. I was so excited. And I have to tell you, at that time, Walmart had 66 stores. So they are not then what they are now, but they were our first big account. And so the buyer ended up, long story short, ended up giving us a 7-store test market. I went, and I'm going to share at the summit how I drove that product. Then he gave me 14 stores, and then he gave me 21, and we became the #1 selling item in the Walmart toy department because of one tip I'm going to share with you at the summit. At any rate, after the 21st store test, he said, you need to come down and visit me. So I went to Bentonville and we talked about packaging, and he looked at his numbers and he goes, I don't understand this. Your packaging and your presentation suck and you're our #1 selling item. And I'll finish that story at the summit as well. So we ended up getting pretty sophisticated. They took us in chain wide. That led to, oh gosh, Toys R Us, Target, Kmart. Then, as I'm really honored to tell you, that also led to McDonald's Happy Meal. And that was 53 million 3-packs that went into McDonald's Happy Meal. And oh boy, guys, this was a race. I opened 5 factories. It was a crazy time, the most fun of my life, the most stress of my life. But when I hear kids say, Mommy, if you buy me this, it's all I want, and they have my product in their hand, that is why you do this.
So let me say this, because, you know, there are, most of my audience, if you will, are people in pharmacy. And so they may be like, oh, well, that's great for her, sidewalk chalk. But, you know, I believe, and you know that I say this, that your dreams are urgent. And oftentimes, pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, pharmacy students, stuff down deep their desire to see a product in the market. And so that was why it was really important for your expertise to be available for the audience, because there are people who have thought about a product that would make healthcare for their patients or healthcare for whatever their audience is, or even just life in general. You know how you see the stories, like you said, of moms who necessity is the mother of invention?
Yes.
That people create things, but that's not necessarily something that we get a good handle on in our formal training. So that's why, for that person who is watching, who has thought of a product like, wouldn't it be neat if there was this in the world? Yes. But they maybe their brain edits what their heart is saying, and they close themselves off and go, oh, well, I don't know how to do that. That is why I wanted them to hear the story of how you said, this is what I want for my children. And then it went all the way to multiple factories, multiple manufacturers, or multiple retailers selling that product. It is possible. So tell me about this product that
I,
we
I
share.
will. And I want to address what you just said, Dr. Dodd, because it's so important. I have invented over 100 products and brought them to market. I have loved it. They haven't all been toys. A lot have, some haven't. What I want to tell everyone is I find a practical solution to an everyday problem. So those of you listening, what problem keeps coming up in your life? Somebody invented a pill bottle that wasn't childproof, so it doesn't break our hands getting into our pills. Somebody invented one that was childproof.
Right.
Somebody invented that wonderful little thing where every pill's for the day of the week. And
Yeah.
somebody invented all that because they saw a problem. So that's what I wanted to encourage you to look for, the problems that you recur in your life. That's where there's a product waiting to be created. And so Jerika mentioned this thing around our necks, which is our one of our products. In 19 years ago, I almost died from a very deadly MRSA staph infection that I contracted where? In a hospital, in the lowest part of my spine. I was deadly sick for 6 months. I had final rites twice. I had 6 surgeries, and I had to learn to walk again. Why? All because of germs.
Right.
Well, I was on drip vancomycin for 6 months. You guys all know what that does. It ruined my hair, my teeth, my hair, my nails, and my skin. Now, thankfully, it grew back. It's a different color, but at least it grew back. At any rate, I knew when I finally got healthy, I wanted to find a better way to kill germs than everything I was having to ingest, because one pill counteracted something else, and it was a hard time for me. But I saw that common problem that I wanted to find an ordinary solution for. So I went back and I did research, just like I did with sidewalk chalk. What did the ancient people do to kill germs? Because they didn't have vancomycin. What they did was antimicrobial copper. Now they had copper. They didn't know yet it was antimicrobial. The more I began to research, I became fascinated with the power of copper. And so, yes, I created a product line of medical grade, made in America, antimicrobial copper that kills 99.9% of germs on contact. And the roller, that I don't leave my home without this. I use it when I'm at the ATM. I use it at the gas station. I use it at the grocery store. And I know this is going to gross you out, but you're all medically trained. You'll get this. Every morning and night, like a Q-tip, up each nostril. Why? Most of our germs enter our bodies through our nose, or 80% on our hands. Now, my best girlfriend in the whole world, I met her on February 10th, 1990. How many of us have a friend so meaningful you remember exactly the date you met them? Well, her dad created the Etch-a-Sketch, and that toy connection is what brought our families together. Well, I gave Kay one of these rollers right after I created it. I wanted her to test it, and she's very holistic in how she keeps her body healthy. She's always been plagued with sore throats, always. And so she called me one day. She goes, "You're not going to believe this. I was getting a sore throat one night. So I took the roller and I sucked on it like a lollipop. My sore throat went away."
Wow.
She has not had one sore throat since. I
gotta say that I've had many conversations with you, but including this one, I am learning so much. Like, I didn't know that you had all the factories for the chalk. I didn't know the lollipop. If you told me that, I don't remember. And so you're like, she sucked on it like a lollipop and her sore throat went away. Because you know what? I have a friend who just sent me a message. She was coming to visit here in Arizona, and she just sent me a message that she wasn't able to come because she has strep throat.
Now, I have another friend in Santa Cruz, California, who has had sinus infection her whole life. I send her one of these, and she does the woohoo woohoo every morning and every night. And she has not had a sinus infection since she started doing this. Now, I can't guarantee it's going to work for everybody. We have 200 people in our focus group who have not had a cold or COVID since August of 2019.
Mhm.
So we do get so many good comments back. And what I want to tell you is, why not try it? It's chemical free. It's all natural. It's not alcohol, chemical based hand sanitizers that the bottles are filling our landfills and our oceans. There's no chemicals being ingested into our bodies. It's a safe, healthy alternative, and it lasts forever. This piece of copper will never, ever stop killing germs. It really is nature's hand sanitizer.
And I'll tell you, having this audience of mostly people in pharmacy, you will see really quickly that they will get it, and you are speaking to the choir. I think one of the things that the pharmacist or the pharmacy professional in my audience will think about is, again, that's great, but how can I? And so one of the other reasons, how can I dot, dot, dot? One of the other reasons that it was important for me to have you be a part of this summit is there are independent pharmacies where, and I know a couple of pharmacy owners, there are many pharmacists that are making transitions in their careers, and they are doing something that's a little unconventional for our profession, in that they're becoming consultants and they're taking care of patients either directly, consulting patients about their health, or health coaching, or they're working in conjunction or in collaboration with physicians. So they have lots of exposure to patients. And so one of the other reasons that I wanted you to be a part of this summit with your expertise is because they can look at other alternatives that they can offer, as we say, and I will reiterate that because, we never know what questions people may have, but I are making any claim that it is going to heal anyone. However, you can have options that you can offer patients. I am very big on patients being in charge of their health and making decisions for themselves. And I feel that as a healthcare professional, one of my jobs is to help them consider what their options are, and they make the decision, not push anything on them. If they ask for my recommendation, definitely I can make recommendations. But one of the things that I want the pharmacy professionals in my audience to see is that this type of product, because it comes in many different shapes and sizes and forms. So that's why I say this type of product is something that can be considered another alternative to offer patients, either if those patients are working one-on-one directly with the pharmacist, if they're coming into that pharmacist said independent pharmacy. There are lots of options there. And so one of the things that I work with my coaching clients on is looking at what's possible and considering more than just what's right in front of you, but availing yourself to other options to help patients support their health. And I know quite a bit of pharmacists and quite a number of people who are not pharmacists outside of the world of pharmacy, but still who are healthcare practitioners in a more integrative, holistic sense, that I think everyone needs to at least take a look at this, take a look at the results of your focus groups and go, this is an option.
Well, there are a lot of studies, and if you Google StayWell Copper or you put it in YouTube, you'll see several videos. We've had a lot of studies done on 10 million MRSA cells put on stainless steel versus put on copper. Stainless steel, they stay alive. Copper, they die. So there is more data than just our focus group. But I also, and this is a surprise for you, Dr. Dodd, for any of you who come and register for the summit that Jerika is putting on, we're going to be offering a special giveaway to 5 people who attend. We're going to be giving you phone patches. These go on the back of the germiest thing we touch all day long, our cell phones. And We will engrave these with your logo, your website, your phone number, however you want your patients or your customers to find you. So that is one gift we're giving to 5 of the people signing up for her seminar. And I just want everyone to know that it is very important for me for people to understand that this is a practical, affordable solution. And a lot of people have fallen by the way of some of the old traditional systems that really did keep us healthy. And in my research, I found out why people quit using copper to kill germs. And this is a quick, interesting story. John D. Rockefeller was our country's first billionaire. He founded Standard Oil, and he had a boatload of money, richest man in America for quite some time. He partnered with Andrew Carnegie, and they started buying pharmaceutical companies because they wanted to get people filling out that prescription every month. It's like you get a paycheck every month when someone gets their prescription every month. So he started buying pharmacies. He then hired a man named Abraham Fleckner and gave him money to go around to the medical colleges and teach pharmacological medicine. So that, and he funded these colleges with hundreds of millions of dollars so they would teach medicine his way. Then he went to the legislators and he bought their votes. I know that's a concept we can't imagine, but he bought the votes of the legislators so that they passed laws that said, unless it's prescribed by a doctor, insurance won't pay for it. And that's where we got rid of acupuncture, chiropractic, these holistic things stopped being paid for by insurance companies. So if a person has to decide, do I pay for it out of my pocket and do something natural and healthy, or do I take a drug? That kind of is when that started. And so my mission is just to let people know copper has been around since the earth was formed. It still does exactly what it did then. And we need to take a good look at it because it is so much a better solution than these, I'm going to get on my hand sanitizer rant, but I've not put one drop of that on my body since the pandemic. This is what I do. And I touch my phone. I can't, it really breaks my heart when I'm out and about and I see parents rubbing hand sanitizer all over their little kids, because what we put on our skin, it is absorbed into our bloodstream. And
absolutely.
Okay,
and
I'll get off my soapbox.
And so I'm grateful to be able to share this option because anybody who knows me knows that I don't wear things around my neck. I don't invite people to be on my platform, and I don't talk about things that I can't be passionate about. And so I'm very honored that I get to do this all day long. I get to, let's see if I can get to the camera, I get to do this all day long. And it's why I could not wait to have you be a part so that I could share with my audience. For anybody who's watching the video, if you've seen it live, if you're seeing it live, if you're watching it on replay, don't hesitate to put hashtag replay. Gosh, all my words are coming out jumbled. Hashtag replay. And I actually put a link there if you would like to try some of the StayWell products. And like Marcia says, it lasts forever. So if you'd like to try one of the products, I will tell you that that is an affiliate link. And so that in full disclosure, you're aware of that. And again, I want to stress how important it is for healthcare practitioners, especially those in pharmacy, and even more specifically, women in pharmacy, to understand that there are options. There are people with the knowledge that you're looking for. There are people who have the wisdom, the experience, that you've got to invest in yourself and go find what it is. So I used to have a coaching client that said before she made a switch in her career, that she would wake up every morning and she would put her dreams under her pillow because she would tuck them there and hide them, unfortunately, to go and do something that she was not in love with doing. So for those of you who are watching this, whether you're a student, whether you're a technician, whether you're a pharmacist, and you are getting up, and in the words of my former coaching client, Mary, if you're getting up and you're tucking your dreams under your pillow and you're going off to do something that you're not enthused about, that you're not passionate about, if you can't just hear in the few minutes that I've had the pleasure of having Marcia be on this platform with me, she's very passionate about what she's doing. If anyone knows me, you know I'm very passionate about women in pharmacy finding their voice, building their brand, and then marketing themselves. And so when you come to be a part of Women in Pharmacy, Nothing Held Back, you are going to get training in the room. You're going to work on your map and your plan on what to do next. This is not an event where I'm just going to stand and talk at you for 3 days. I'm going to teach. You're going to put it into practice. You're going to leave with literally physically something in your hand. Though you're coming virtually, you will have something in your hand to take, and that is your action plan to get started. So many times I talk to women in pharmacy, and what I think we don't understand is the value of time. And especially if you're in an environment that's toxic, the value of time. You talked about this copper and how it will last forever. Unfortunately, human beings, we all have a date that we will expire, if you will. And so to spend any amount of time in an environment that's toxic, we know how when water drips slowly over years, it has the power to erode rocks. So imagine being in a toxic environment, and most of the women that I talk to go, if I could just figure out how. That's why my profile says, I help pharmacists, now women in pharmacy, figure out how. If I can't help you figure out how, I know somebody who can help you figure out how, which is why it was my pleasure to bring Marcia Reece. Like, this lady is brilliant. I sat like this, like when she first started talking to me and telling me her story, because I have never necessarily thought about bringing a product to market, but just listening to her talk about how she has done it repeatedly with hundreds of products, I was like, I want to continue getting to know her, because one of the things, and it's not my saying, but I've read in many places, sit at the table with winners because the conversation is different. So women in pharmacy, if you are sitting at this table and you're hearing this different conversation and you're like, I don't know, then I encourage you to understand that the conversation is different, and you need to know people outside of the world of pharmacy as well as within the world of pharmacy. So I look forward to seeing you. Marcia, thank you for coming, and I can't wait to get, and thank you for that surprise. I can't wait to give that giveaway to 5 people, because one of the things that I set out to do in having this event was I wanted my clients to have, my attendees to have an experience, and so that they're looking forward to this each time we do this conference, because I'm in the process of building relationships. I'm in the process of helping women in pharmacy change their lives. And I believe in finding the best to bring to the attendees so that they can walk away and go, wow, I didn't even expect all of that. So want to make sure, I'm going to put this up one more time, that you go to nothingheldback.live, get your ticket, because next Thursday I will not be answering emails about, hey, I just got my ticket. Like, you want to get in there so that you can make sure you're in the room. And that VIP ticket is where you're going to get even more knowledge and get to be able to virtually ask your questions and connect with the sponsors who have come beside me to make this an amazing event.
I can't wait to see you all then. And I'm going to say one more thing as my closing comment. First of all, if you have any questions, please reach out to either myself on LinkedIn or Jerika. We'll get you answered. But also, instead of putting your dreams under your pillow, put them on a vision board, and every day look at them and let them become part of your day's plan in your subconscious mind. It's very powerful.
Yes. And I like to tell people, as I said earlier, don't let your brain edit what your heart says it wants. Don't do that, because when you're an analytical thinker like pharmacy professionals are, it's really easy. As soon as your heart blurts out what it longs for, your brain goes, oh, we can't do that. And so don't let your brain edit what your heart wants. Nonetheless, again, thank you, dearest Marcia. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being a part. Thank you for the gift of your friendship. We met, and it was hard to get off the phone with you from the first time to the current time. So thank you, thank you, thank you for the gift of your friendship. Thank you for seeing something in me to say, I'll come alongside and I'll help. I appreciate that. And I can't wait to share you with the audience. It's been my pleasure, because see, this is out here for like posterity. And so I'm so excited to share you with the audience that I have on social media. And we will definitely, after all the dust has settled from putting on this event, we'll definitely get back on and make sure that we have more conversation, because people need to know that there are options and that there are alternatives. And I believe that for the profession of pharmacy, you have a lot of people that are looking for that right now. So thank you. Again, Nothing Held Back is going to be July 21st through the 23rd. It is starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time, going to 5 p.m. And you're like, what? I can't, because I tell you what, get the VIP ticket and you will have a link to the replay. And then you can attend sponsor coffee chat. There's going to be a special Q&A session with me. There's going to be all kinds of things happening that you don't want to miss. So I'm very, very excited to bring this, to share, and to help people change the trajectory of their career and ultimately their lives. So thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, like Marcia said, reach out to us. We're on LinkedIn, and we'll definitely get you answers. And I can't wait to see you at the conference next week. Bye.
Bye.